Welcome back to the Library Choice YouTube channel. Today we'll be learning how to make this gorgeous sleeve. It's a very simple sleeve to make and it is beginner friendly. If this is what you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So to make this sleeve, you need your basic bodice, and I have my basic bodice drafted here already. If you don't know how to draft a basic bodice, you may want to check that out on the channel. So here's my basic bodice, and the measurement you will need for this basic bodice, you just need to take your sleeve measurement where you want your sleeves to be. So for this sleeve, I will not be using an elastic because the owner of the cloth doesn't want an elastic, but I'm going to be explaining if you're going to be using an elastic how you can go about it. So the total length I want for this is around 12.5 inches. I just added half-inch allowance to make it 13 inches. And for the puffiness, I'm going to be using a scuba fabric. You can use poly, you can use crepe, or any fabric of your choice. So this is my basic sleeve, and this is going to be like my base. So if you look at the sleeve very well, it has like a two-part. It has the basic sleeve and the puffy part. So again, you need to determine where you want your puffiness to start. So you can measure that also from here. The puffiness can start from around here, which is 6 inches or 7 inches depending on what you want. So let's say we are going for around 6.5 inches. I'll go over to my basic bodice now and then measure out the 6.5 inches and mark it out. Okay, so I'm measuring my 6.5 inches, then I'm going to make it into a straight line. So this has been made into a straight line now, like this. I hope it is visible for us to see. So like I was saying, assuming you want to be adding an elastic to this, you don't need to measure a full basic bodice, a full basic sleeve block like this. You just need to measure the up to the bicep where you want to attach your sleeve, and then you cut it out. Then you cut your sleeve separately, join it to this place that you cut out, and add elastic at the hemline. But I don't want to add elastic to this. That is why I cut a basic sleeve, so that it can help me to gather it. So now the next thing is for us to cut our sleeve, and to do this, for the circumference, you need to know the measurement of this. Okay, so this is the circumference and the measurement is 12 inches. So you need to note that, and also the length that is remaining, and this is around 6.5 inches. Okay, so you need those two lengths. This is going to be the circumference, the one we're going to use to achieve our radius. And the measurement, the type of sleeve that we'll be going for is the half circle sleeve, which is the 180-degree sleeve. So because it is an half circle sleeve, I'll be dividing what I have here by 3.142, which is going to give me 12 divided by 3.142, which is around 3.8 inches. But because I want some gathers around here, so instead of using 3.8 inches, I'm just going to be cutting 4.5, okay, as my radius. So now to fold it, because this is an half circle, I have a detailed tutorial on how to cut and half circle flare. If you don't know how to, you can check it out there. So now to fold this, now remember the radius I'm working with is 4.5, and the actual length that we are working with is around 6.5 inches. So 4.5 plus 6.5 is going to give us around 11 inches. But I'm not going to be cutting exactly the half, the length, because this is a puffy sleeve and I want to give it room to bounce. So to do that, you can add like 4 or 5 inches to it. So if I'm adding 4 inches to this, it's going to give me 15, and if I'm adding 5 inches, it's going to give me 16. So let's say I'm adding 5 inches to this, I'll have 16 inches, and that is what I'm going to use to fold my flare. Okay, so just watch carefully to see how you are going to be folding the half circle flare. So you're folding by around 16 inches. You fold into two first, and then you fold it in a triangular form. Remember, if it's a full circle, you just fold into 4, but in case of half circle like this, you fold into 2, and then you fold in triangular form before you now make your markings. So the first marking we are going to make is our radius, which is 4.5. okay, remember the actual measurement of the radius is around 3.8, but I just added to it to make it 4.5 because I want to gather small gathering around that place. So this is 4.5 and this is my radius. And then the full length including the radius I said is going to be 16 inches. because I added extra 5 inches to my actual length so that I can give my flare enough room to bounce. I hope you understand that. So now the total length is 16 inches. If you remove the 4.5 that we have for our radius, we'll be left with around 11.5 or 12.5 thereabouts. So now this is the full length and this is my radius. Okay, so this is our flare when we open it up, and if you check it with the measurement here, the 12 inches here, you can see that we have excess, which is what I said I want to gather. So now if you are to be working with a fabric that frills, this is a scuba fabric, I can leave this like this. You may want to either line this or you take it to a serger and then serge the edges, because I'm going to be placing it on top of it. This is not going to be concealed because that is how the style is. So you may want to serge this place, but I'm going to leave it like this because this is a scuba. And if you're even working with a scuba, if you have like a pinkish hair or zigzag scissors, you can use it to cut this style so that it can give you some kind of style. And if you check the length also, you will see that it is longer by 5 inches, okay, because we want to give it enough room to puff. So now to do this, the next thing I'm going to do now is to gather the hemline of this to fit into this small hole. So like I said, assuming I'm going to be using an elastic, I'll just cut my basic bodies around here, around the 6.5 inches that I measured. Then I'm going to be sewing this to it, and then I'll add elastic at the hemline. So I cut a full bodies because I'm not going to be adding elastic to it. I'll use the hemline of my basic bodies to gather what I have here. So now I'll take this to the sewing machine now, and then I'm going to gather it right. This is the right side of the fabric, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. This is the right side of the fabric, so I'm just going to turn it like this, and then I'm going to gather it so that it can conceal these rough edges for me before I bring it back up here. So I take this to the machine now and gather it. Okay, so I've got to gather it now. You can see that I've gathered it to the hemline. So now the next thing for me is to bring this up now, and then I'm going to sew this to the white mark that I have here. Okay, so like I said, I'll be sewing it on top. I'll be sewing it on top of this. That was why I said you need to make sure that this edge is neat. So now the excess that I have, I'm just going to be gathering it a little, and then I can now bring this out to see what I have. So I'll take this to the machine now and then sew this on top of this. So this will be the upper part, which is around the bicep area, and this down part is going to be the puffy part. Okay, so this has been sewn to the upper part now, and I use the white thread so that we can see it, and you can see the small pleats that I took there. So now the sleeve is almost ready. The next thing is just for us to close it on the side seam, and then we'll place it on our mannequin. But you can see how puffy our puff part is looking because we added excess to it. Assuming you don't add excess to it, it's just going to be lying flat like this. It's going to be dragging it. So this puffiness that you are seeing there is because of the excess that we added. So I'm just going to close it now by placing them against each other, and then I'm going to close it on the side seam and bring it back to show us. Okay, so now you can see that we sewn the side seam. I just pushed the excess downwards like this. So now I'm going to be turning it out, and then we will see what our sleeve is looking like. So you just need to arrange it, and then you can see how lovely this is looking. Okay, so now I'm going to put it on the sleeve, on the hand, so that we can see the beauty of the sleeve. But just look at this, see how lovely this is. So like I said, if you are not going to be gathering this with your, if you don't mind elastic, but some people react to elastic, okay, so that is why this method is just perfect for everybody. But if your client is fine with elastic, you just need to create a casing at the hemline here, and then you pass elastic to it. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the mannequin now to see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm putting this on the mannequin. I can see how bulky our sleeve is looking, and even if you want it more bulkier than this, if you want it bulkier, you can even use maybe a 360-degree flare. Remember, I just used a half flare, a 180 flare, and it's giving me this. So I'll take it to the mannequin to see it properly how it looks. Okay, so this is what our sleeve looks like on the mannequin, and you can see the puffiness and how lovely this sleeve is looking. It's very beautiful, and it's a very elegant sleeve you can just put on Ashwebi or even English wear. I hope this tutorial has been helpful. Let us know in the comment section if you find this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.